So Apple went and did something they almost never do. They released a MacBook that's actually affordable. This is the MacBook Neo. But of course, that begs the question, to hit that price, what did they have to cut? Is this the dream laptop we've all been waiting for? Or is it a compromise that's just a little too much? Well, don't worry, we've got all the answers right here.
Here's how we're going to break it all down for you today. First, we'll look at what the MacBook Neo actually is. Then, the all-important price, and more importantly, how to get the best possible deal. After that, we'll dig into performance, see how it stacks up against its bigger brothers in the Mac lineup, and then we'll wrap it all up with our final easy buy verdict. Ready? Let's get into it.
Okay, first things first. To really understand the Neo, you have to know exactly what you're getting for your money, and maybe more importantly, what you're not getting.
Now, Apple is keeping the lineup dead simple, which is great. You've got two choices. And under the hood, they share the exact same engine. That's the A18 Pro chip and 8 gigs of memory. So your only real decision is storage. Do you want the 256 gig base model, or do you want to double it to 512? The one other little perk for upgrading is that you get Touch ID, Apple's fingerprint sensor, instead of a standard lock key. That's it. Simple. Honestly, for what you're paying, the list of what you get is pretty impressive. You're getting that A18 Pro chip, a beautiful 13-inch liquid retina display that gets plenty bright, a really sharp 1080p webcam for your video calls, and get this, up to 16 hours of battery life. Plus, it's totally silent because there's no fan. It comes in 4 awesome colors, and it's all housed in that classic, super durable aluminum body we all know.
Okay, now for the really important part, the compromises. To get the price this low, Apple had to make some pretty strategic cuts. First, the keyboard isn't backlit. That's a pretty big deal if you work at night. The display, while nice, is limited to sRGB color. So if you're a photographer or video editor, you're going to miss those richer P3 colors. That 8 gigs of memory, it's soldered on, which means you can never ever upgrade it. And you're losing out on all the pro features like that buttery smooth promotion display and the super fast Thunderbolt ports. You just have to go in knowing about these trade-offs.
All right, let's talk about the number that probably matters most to a lot of you, the price. And you know us, we're going to show you how to get it for even less.
So the MacBook Neo officially starts at a manufacturer's suggested retail price of 69,900 rupees. And just to be clear, that makes it the cheapest laptop Apple has ever sold, ever. But here's the thing, you should absolutely not pay that sticker price. With the launch deals happening right now, the effective price immediately drops to 65,900 rupees. That's a huge discount right out of the gate that makes this an even smarter buy. So, how do you get that lower price? It's actually pretty simple. First, if you have an eligible bank card from ICICI or Axis, that's an instant 4,000 rupees in cashback. Boom. Second, if you've got an old device lying around, you can trade it in for an extra bonus of up to 10,000 rupees. And of course, if you're a student or an educator, don't forget about Apple's special education pricing, which brings the cost down even more.
Okay, so it's cheap. But can a chip that was designed for an iPhone actually power a whole laptop? Well, this is where the story of the MacBook Neo gets really, really interesting.
And hey, don't just take our word for it. After testing it, the legendary tech reviewer MKBHD said this might be one of Apple's most disruptive products in over a decade. And why's that? It's because the performance you get for this amount of money is it's kind of shocking actually. Here's the key takeaway. That A18 Pro chip inside the Neo, it's not some watered-down, slow processor. This thing is a legit powerhouse. In fact, it delivers performance that's basically on par with the legendary M1 chip, the one in the MacBook Air that completely changed everyone's expectations for what a laptop could do. And look, here's the proof right here. In Geekbench 6, which is the industry standard test, the Neo's A18 Pro chip puts up a multi-core score that's neck and neck with the M1 MacBook Air. To have that kind of horsepower in a laptop at this price, well, it's practically unheard of. This thing isn't just capable, it's shockingly fast. And all that efficiency really pays off when it comes to battery life. Apple is claiming up to 16 hours of just watching videos. In our more real-world tests, that translates to about 11 solid hours of just browsing the web wirelessly. That's more than enough to get you through a full day of classes or work, no problem.
So, if this machine is so good, what are you actually giving up by not spending more and stepping up to something like a MacBook Air? Let's break it down side by side.
So what does all that extra cash for a MacBook Air really get you? Well, as you can see, the big upgrades are a more powerful M5 chip, that professional-grade P3 color display, and much faster Thunderbolt ports with the super convenient MagSafe charger. The takeaway here is pretty clear. The Neo is the king of everyday tasks. The Air is where you go when you need to step up to more demanding, professional-level work.
Okay, we've gone through the specs, the price, the performance, but it all comes down to one single, simple question. Should you buy the MacBook Neo?
We've tried to make this as simple as possible for you. The Neo is an instant yes, an absolute buy if you're a student, or if you spend your days browsing the web, writing, and sending emails. It is the best value ticket into the Mac world, period. But it is a definite no, a pass, if you're a creative pro who lives in Photoshop or Final Cut Pro, if you're a heavy multitasker, or if you need any kind of serious gaming power. For you, those compromises we talked about will feel like serious bottlenecks.
So here's our final thought. By combining performance that is truly good enough for the vast majority of people with a price that is just so aggressive, Apple hasn't really just made a cheap laptop. What they might have just done is create the new default laptop for millions and millions of people all over the world.
And that is the MacBook Neo. What a fascinating little machine, right? It really does kind of redefine what a budget laptop can be. But we really want to know what you think. Is this the new default laptop for you? Let us know down in the comments. If this breakdown helped you out, hitting that like button is always appreciated. And of course, subscribe to Easy Buy for more deep dives into the tech you actually care about. Thanks so much for watching.